On an ordinary day, Carroll police received an unusual call that would turn everything in their quiet small town upside down. The call was about an unusual situation in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Reports had come in about a black bear running back and forth on the road, apparently trying to get her 4 cubs safely to the other side. While it wasn't unusual for a wild animal to cross the road near a forest, it was almost unique for a mother bear and her cubs to be in the middle of a busy road. The caller, recognizing the urgency and importance of the situation, provided the officer with the necessary details and expressed concern for the safety of the bear and her cubs. The officer immediately relayed the information to Trooper Thomas Owens, who rushed to the scene, not knowing what awaited him. Little did he know, an incredible story would unfold before his very eyes. When Owens arrived at the location, he stepped out of his patrol car and observed the distressed bear family. The mother was pacing back and forth, visibly nervous. As Owens looked more closely, he noticed there was a problem. His heart sank when he saw one of the cubs lagging behind. Its steps had become slow and laboured, and it was struggling to keep up with its siblings and mother. It was clear that the cub was weak and needed help. Understanding the importance of ensuring the safety of the bear family, Owens quickly took control of the situation. He blocked off the street with his patrol car, preventing other vehicles from getting closer. Traffic began to back up, but drivers waited patiently, knowing that something extraordinary was happening right before their eyes. Word spread quickly, and onlookers started gathering, drawn by the rare sight of a bear family in the middle of the highway. As the mother bear became more concerned about her limping cub, her maternal instincts kicked into overdrive. She gently nudged the cub, hoping to get it to keep running. But the exhaustion of the little one was evident. Desperate to help her baby, she made several attempts to pick him up in her mouth and carry him across the street. However, every attempt failed because the young cub was too weak to hold on. The sight touched both Trooper Owens and the growing crowd of onlookers. They watched with bated breath, sharing in the mother bear's desperate attempts to help her little one. With each passing minute, the mother bear's determination to support her ailing cub weakened. After a few more attempts and failures, she did something completely unexpected. She gave her cub one last nudge, then turned away from him, reluctantly marching across the street to rejoin her 3 remaining cubs. As the mother bear left her struggling cub behind, a sense of worry filled the air. Passers-by exchanged glances, unsure of what would happen next. The police officer, deeply moved by the mother's actions, felt compelled to ensure the well-being of the abandoned cub. So, he did something no one would expect an ordinary person to do. The poor cub was now alone and vulnerable and needed immediate help. Without hesitation, Owens made the bold decision to intervene, despite the potential dangers that could arise. Police officers like him were trained to deal with wildlife, but he also knew that a mother bear's protective instincts could lead to a dangerous confrontation. He understood that any sudden or threatening movement could escalate the situation and put him at risk, especially if the bear noticed him approaching her vulnerable baby. So, he ran and grabbed the cub as quickly as he could. With the little bear safely in his arms, he sprinted to his patrol car without wasting any time. His heart pounded with adrenaline. Owens reached his vehicle and carefully placed the cub in the passenger seat. He made sure the bear was comfortable before securing him with a seatbelt to ensure his safety during the ride. Owens then headed to the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department, the wildlife agency equipped to provide the care and rehabilitation the little bear desperately needed. Upon his arrival, Owens handed the cub over to the waiting team of zookeepers, veterinarians, and biologists. They assessed the little one's condition and carefully examined him for injuries. The team praised the police officer's efforts, and Owens felt a sense of relief, knowing he had made an important contribution to saving the cub. Now the little bear was safe and in good hands. Now the case was closed for him, or so he thought. The next day, police got wind of another black bear cub that had been spotted on the side of the road. Unbeknownst to them, the bear had given birth to 5 cubs. This particular cub had been left behind because it was even weaker than its sibling and couldn't keep up with the rest of the family. This information was surprising in itself, as the average number of cubs a bear gives birth to is 2 to 3. Having 5 cubs was very rare, and the higher number may have explained the weakness of the last 2. News of another black bear cub in need of help reached the police, sparking a mix of surprise and concern among officers. Owens, with memories of the previous day's rescue still fresh in his mind, understood the urgency of the report. He quickly gathered the necessary equipment and made his way to the place where the cub had last been seen. When he arrived at the scene, he examined the surroundings and looked for signs of the cub or the rest of the bear family. With his trained eye, he spotted a small movement in the leaves. Cautiously he approached and discovered that the cub was indeed very weak and unable to keep up with its mother and siblings. Determined to help this little one too, he approached with the same care he had shown its sibling. He could see that the cub was exhausted and realized it needed immediate help to survive. Aware of the possible risks, he immediately contacted wildlife authorities and informed them of the situation. They were on site quickly, ready to assist the bear family with their expertise and support. Working alongside the wildlife authorities, they helped create a safe and controlled environment for the rescue of the bear cub. With precision and compassion, Trooper Owens gently picked up the weak cub and cradled it in his arms. The wildlife officials remained on standby to prepare for any potential issues during the rescue. The team stabilized the cub before taking it to the Fish and Game Department's Rehabilitation Center, where it would be reunited with its sibling. At least the 2 cubs would have each other now and would no longer be alone. Thanks to the dedicated efforts of the police and the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department, the cubs received the care and support they needed to grow stronger and develop important survival skills. The 2 weak bear cubs, rescued by the police, were given a second chance at life. While in the care of the rescue organization, the cubs received special attention to ensure their well-being and proper growth. Over time, they gradually regained their strength and vitality. The mother bear was also spotted again with her 3 cubs. As the cubs grew and became more independent, the wildlife department carefully assessed whether they were ready for release. When the time was right, it was decided that the cubs would be released back into their natural habitat so they could enjoy their lives in the wild. Trooper Owens vowed to keep an eye on the neighbouring woods to make sure the family could live safely in the forest. He was hailed as a hero by the locals for his incredible courage. If this story touched your heart like it did ours, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And now, watch our next unbelievable story when a baby owl begged a police officer for help. What happened next will leave you speechless.